This is what it feels like to look at a non-linear resume. You start at a clear center point, but every few years, the timeline veers off into a jagged, disconnected dead end. If you have a job history like this, you know the specific dread of sitting down to write a cover letter. You have to explain to a recruiter why you worked in one industry, pivoted to something else, stepped away for a while, and returned to a different field. It's easy to worry that without a perfectly straight line connecting your jobs, people will look at your history and assume you are incompetent or simply lost. That fear is rooted in the expectations of the mid-90s. Back then, you were supposed to graduate, pick a single lane, and climb a predictable corporate ladder without ever stepping off. Today, that straight line progression is becoming a relic. In the modern economy, very few professionals actually follow the textbook path. A winding path is rarely the problem. The difficulty lies in the fact that you haven't identified the specific narrative thread that connects all those different roles together. The rapid adoption of AI tools, systems that can automate predictable, repetitive tasks, is changing what employers prioritize in a new hire. Many organizations are now looking for human adaptability and the ability to think across different domains, rather than focusing purely on narrow, rigid expertise. A history of navigating different industries and surviving unfamiliar environments serves as evidence of that exact adaptability. Your nonlinear history is a potential asset in this market, as long as you can communicate the underlying logic that makes your background cohesive. To see how this works, let's look at a hypothetical scattered career history: retail management, event planning, a 2-year caregiving gap, and social media management. Looking at these job titles, there is no obvious common industry or function. They look like 4 completely isolated chapters, but if you look past the titles and examine the daily actions required to succeed in these roles, a different picture emerges. You are managing chaotic retail floors, coordinating event logistics, handling complex caregiving schedules, and running multifaceted digital campaigns. The common thread here is the ability to coordinate complex moving parts and manage people under pressure. The environment changed with every pivot, but that specific skill set remained the same, and it grew stronger with every transition. Experienced recruiters don't just look for matching job titles. They hire for transferable core values and a clear story about how those skills were developed. The main obstacle to this is perspective. Most people struggle to see these patterns in their own history because they are too close to the individual jobs and perceived gaps. This is where LinkLaunch.ai uses an AI tool called Rocket. Rocket acts as an objective framework to help you decode a seemingly messy career. This interface shows how the tool moves past job titles. It uses targeted questions to help you audit your history based on the problems you consistently solve for others. Answering these prompts helps reframe a series of random choices into an exploratory journey toward a specialized set of skills. Mapping your through line with an objective audit is the first step toward turning a complicated background into a clear value proposition. Imagine sitting in this chair during a high-pressure interview. A recruiter asks you to explain your career gaps or why you've changed industries so often. Most people react by apologizing for their history. Instead, use that moment to explain the unique perspective your diverse background has given you. When you confidently explain the logic of your transitions, a recruiter sees a candidate with a depth of experience a traditional applicant might lack. A non-linear candidate can often look at a business problem from multiple angles. It's a level of versatility that's difficult to find in someone who has stayed in one lane their entire career. To make this work, you have to take ownership of your story. That narrative needs to be consistent across your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and your interviews. You can use LinkLaunch.ai to find the pattern in your own history and position your background as a strategic advantage. The most valuable professionals in the current economy are often the ones who took the winding path and learned how to use it.